Hello and welcome to this session of deep dive into writing your value proposition. I am your coach and mentor Arun Singhal with 40 years of experience in talent development. So what are we going to do today? What is the purpose of the session today? So what we want to do today is to give you an understanding of how can you write a value proposition. We'll also tell you what a value proposition is, how it can help you get a job that you're looking for, an interview call for the job that you're looking for. At the end of this module, you will learn first understand why is it important to write a value proposition? Why the hell should you write a value proposition? Second, what do you do today to communicate your value to your recruiters? How do you tell them what is the value that you provide? What should you do to provide a value proposition, to write a value proposition and communicate that value proposition to your recruiters? And what could a value proposition look like in real life? All right. So are you ready for the day today? Wonderful. So let's talk about why do we need to write a value proposition. Writing value proposition will provide a message that you can send to your target companies to get a 5-minute call to start the conversation. Remember, this whole process of getting interview call is to market yourself. And what do companies do when they market themselves or their products? They create a small advertising message and they communicate it. They communicate through TV, through hoardings, through paper, through social media. And in that, there is a central message that consistently keep coming. Colgate whitens teeth. That's their value proposition. Patanjali restores your health. So like this, you need to find your value proposition. And you writing the value proposition will help you develop that message that you can send to the companies, your target companies, and get a better response for an interview call that you're looking for. It will tell you your potential recruiter in brief who you are and how you can provide them a value. How can they benefit from you? And if you can tell them they can get benefited by working with you, that will generate their interest in you, right? And then they will look at you as a candidate in which they're interested. Not having a value proposition will severely limit your efforts to market yourself. I haven't seen anyone being successful marketer without having a value proposition. Value proposition is the central point of any marketing effort. And so you need to have a value proposition. Let's look at what do we do today to communicate your value company and how good is this process? Can you think about and write down on a piece of paper what exactly do you do to communicate the value that you have to the company? And then tally with what I'm going to show you is my understanding. Okay. So what happens today? Most of us use CVs actually. 1 pager, 2 pagers, sometimes people use even 3 or 4 pages here to communicate about yourself. And how much information is there on the CV? Lots. Number of pages multiplied by number of sentences. On average, you have that many messages going. We don't communicate specifically the value that you can provide, we can provide to the company anywhere. While some CVs have started having some parts of that, and I will talk about that in another module, how to prepare a great CV. You can build that into your CV, but as of now, the CVs don't have that. And as a result of that, what happens is, imagine you being a recruiter and you get these hundreds of CVs with 1 page and maybe hundreds of words or thousands of words. You find it difficult to find what is the value provided by that candidate. Since CVs are 1-page document, it doesn't clearly tell the recruiter what is the value that you will deliver to them. And consequently, the CV is not a great tool to market yourself. It has its utility, but it is not a great marketing tool, right? So how do you write your value proposition? And I will talk to you about, so what is a value proposition? Value proposition, in very brief, tells you who you are and how could you help someone else that you are reaching out to. What value can you provide? How can I benefit you? See, the principle of getting other person interested in you is that you have to talk. What is it that you can do? How can he or she benefit from you? If only you only talk about yourself, would she or he be interested in you at all? Unlikely. So you need to say, You need to understand what are they looking for and then say how can you help them. So a value proposition is a small two paragraph, couple of sentences in two paragraphs, and it basically starts by stating your understanding of their talent acquisition need in one short sentence. Shortness, brevity is important because no one has unlimited time to read your documents and submissions. So it could, if a company is looking for software testing professionals, you could say that I understand you're looking for experienced software testing professional who can test the softwares, develop and debug them and roll them out in the market faster. And that's their need. So what you're doing is you're articulating their understanding. And how does that help? This is a starting point where you start building connect with the person. The other person says, hey, this guy Arun seems to know what I'm looking for. He's unlike others who just keep telling me about themselves. He's talking about me, my requirements. And you get a chance of hearing. So it gets your feet into the company. Second thing, what you do is in the next part of the value proposition, you write who you are in terms of your skills, capabilities, knowledge, very short. What you can offer, how will it benefit, and why in one sentence again. So if you were a software testing professional who can debug software and having worked in Oracle, you would say, I am an experienced software testing professional who can debug softwares, develop and ensure faster rollouts of it because I have done this for 6 years in Oracle India. And that's what I can do for you. At this point of time, I want to tell you a small story of how the value proposition helps. Modi's first campaign, I'm a political person, but this is a great example of having a value proposition and how it works for you to get what you want. So Modi won his first campaign nationally, worldwide, and not worldwide, or India-wide. And this campaign was run by O&M, and Piyush Pandey is a great friend. He headed that point of time, and I think he still heads there. So he was being interviewed on CNBC. So they asked Piyush, so Piyush, what did you do? What value did you offer to the masses of India for Modi to get selected as Prime Minister? Piyush is a very humble guy. So he said, no, I didn't do anything. It's actually Mr. Modi. And it was partly politically right also for him to say so. And he said Modi did three things. First, he said he did something in Gujarat. He did some good development work in Gujarat. That's a part of actually doing something. That's a part of acquiring knowledge and skills and credentials. So he did something. Third thing he said, he told the people what he did. And that's a part of value proposition, what I did. And the third part, he says, I could do the same thing for you now. And that's again part of the value proposition. So Modi is a great marketeer. He did something in Gujarat and communicated the developmental value proposition that I did this great development work in Gujarat. I think we guys need it in India and I could do for all of India. So why not hire me as a Prime Minister? And that worked, right? And what you need to do is develop such multiple value propositions based on the needs and because remember we've identified 6 strengths, 6 possible roles. So you could conceptually and theoretically develop 6 possible value propositions and use them to reach out to different companies or same company if they offer similar roles. So what does a real value proposition look like? So a value proposition will look like in a paragraph like this. Hey, if you're talking to me, you'll say, hey, I Arun sir, understand looking for a experienced software professional who can test the softwares, develop and debug them. That's a need. I'm an experienced software testing professional who can debug softwares, develop and ensure faster rollouts of this. Because I have 6 years of experience doing so in Oracle India. Can you please give me a 5 minutes time to talk to you about how I can help you in getting the right software testing professional and develop your products faster? So what you see in the value proposition, there's a target customer whom you're reaching out to, and you have already developed that list of target companies, right? You would know who are the person you're reaching out to. Then there's a need statement. You have to understand based on your understanding of the roles that what kind of need they have. And then based on the need, there is what is called a core benefit. What benefit can you provide? What is it that you have that you can give to them for their benefit? And the reason to believe. Like this example of Modi. When Modi said, I can develop the country, that was the value proposition. That's the benefit he offered. The reason believe was because I have done that for last 10 years, 10 years in Gujarat. And that's what a value proposition looks like. So what have we learned in this module? Most of us communicate our values to the recruiters only through CV, which is not great. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of words and many, many sentences and many, many themes. And the recruiter doesn't get a sense of what is the value that you can provide to me as a company. And this process is obviously not very effective. We need to consider writing a value proposition to use instead of a CV, instead of sending CVs. CV is a great tool. You can use a CV if there's a position opened up, you have a job description, you can modify your CV and send the details against the CV. So CV is a great value. But specifically in this approach of a 7-step where we don't have a JD, we are reaching out to companies ahead of time in the hope, with the aim of being an early bird. CV is not the right tool. What we need to do is write a small paragraph because recruiters don't have unlimited time. They have a limited time and we are marketing ourselves. So we need to develop this value proposition, which consists of the target customer. We need to address them. We need to have a statement of our understanding of what they may be needing. What is our offer and how it could benefit of them, and why could you deliver this? And we need to write that together. And we now know what a value proposition could look like, right? So where are we going to go from here? So coming back to our 7-step process, we are now completed the 4 steps of the process. We started with identifying our strengths. We have identified a couple of suitable roles. We have listed target companies. We know how to list target companies, and to those companies, we also are developed. We now know how to develop a value proposition that you can go through the next 3 steps. So we have completed 4 steps. In the next session, we will go to the 5th step of reaching out to target companies for a 5-minute call, and then take it forward from there. So thank you so much for watching this video on how to write a value proposition. Hope you find this useful for getting an interview call that you are looking for. Thank you again, and see you in the next module.